Hey, Giant fans and football fans, welcome to the channel. This is our first episode and our first game review of the New York Giants. And the Giants unfortunately lost their home opener, the 2024 100th season of the franchise, 28-6 to the Vikings. It was 14-3 at halftime. Overall, unfortunately, it was just a terrible game. They were still in it, obviously, up until the second half. Up until really the first half, it was 14-3. Could have been worse, but they were in the red zone a couple of times and only got 3 points. So, yeah, not too good. Now, I'll review every unit. I'll save quarterback for last for pretty obvious reasons. Running back, I thought the running backs looked good. Devin Singletary, he looked good. I wish they stayed with the running game a little longer. I mean, no huge holes, but there were no big tackles for loss. I thought Eric Gray looked pretty solid too, and Tyrone Tracy, he kind of looked like a rookie, but he got a couple of runs. He dropped one pass, got a pass reception. Eric Gray got a couple of good runs in the fourth quarter, and he had a catch. So again, they just didn't stick with it. So pass protection looked okay from the running backs. We need to run the ball more, especially to protect Daniel Jones, and we'll get to Daniel Jones later. Now, as far as the wide receivers, I thought Malik Neighbors, his rookie debut, I thought he looked good, but he only got the 6 targets. I think he had 4 catches, including a nice 25-yarder and like a nice leaping 15, 20-yarder. So, I mean, he's a stud. He's going to be good. I mean, he's going to be an excellent receiver. We just need to get him the ball more. So, Wan'Dale Robinson was Wan'Dale Robinson. I've seen a lot of websites saying, oh, he's a candidate for a breakout player. I think he broke out last year. He had 60 catches. He didn't have that many yards on 60 catches. He only had I think 600 yards and maybe a couple touchdowns, but that's not his role. His role is not to get downfield. So he had like 11 or 12 targets. I believe he caught about 6 passes, a couple first downs, some near first downs, but Daniel Jones is going to get him killed. He could have caught maybe 4 or 5 more passes, but Jones was just so way off. So, if anything, we're too dependent on the short game, and I can't see Wan'Dale Robinson lasting the whole season. Part of the reason why I wish Isaiah McKenzie stayed healthy. So, unfortunately, he's not on the team. So, Slayton was Slayton. Couple of catches. He was the backup punt returner because Gunnar Orlowski got hurt, which is unfortunate during the warm-ups. So the backup plan was to go with Darius Slayton. I don't think that's a good idea because he has the worst hands of all the receivers. But I mean, I still like Darius Slayton as a player. I think this will be his last year as a Giant, but I'm hoping he has an excellent season. So it'll work both ways. He'll get money to be a number 1 or a number 2. Well, more like a number 2, a solid number 2 for another team. He'll get money, and the Giants will get a compensatory pick for him, hopefully. So, but this year is this year still. There's still 16 more games. And I'm confident Slayton will have some. He'll have these stinker games, but then he'll have some really good games too, I think. So that's Darius Slayton being Darius Slayton. So, and then Jalen Hyatt, who had a lot of Giants fans, including myself, have high hopes for. He only had 1 target. He dropped it, but the ball's a little high and outside, which Jones threw to him. So, anyway, high hopes for him. Jonathan Vilma, the sports announcer, the broadcaster, he mentioned that, hey, you got Malik Neighbors and Jalen Hyatt. Go deep to these guys. They got speed. And yeah, not one deep throw. Keep them honest. Throw it. What's the worst that can happen? An incompletion, or they pick it off and it's like a punt, or you get a pass interference, or God forbid, your playmaker will make a play. We got some guys that can make plays. Daniel Jones just needs to throw it. Anyway, so now let's get to the offensive line. As far as the offensive line is concerned, well, wait, let me go back to the tight ends. Daniel Bellinger had 1 catch for 5 yards or so. Blocking wasn't too good. He didn't get the edge on a lot of plays, and I just thought his guy came in a little bit too much. Theo Johnson, didn't get to see too much of it either. He did have a nice catch. He had like a 12, 13-yard catch down the seam, and it was a nice catch. A little too late, but still, nonetheless, I was happy to see him get the ball. So hopefully, I'd like to see him be the starter, actually, because there's a lot of potential as a receiver, and I think he could be Bellinger's equal as a blocker. But, I still have high hopes of Bellinger. I think they could be a solid 1 and 2, so I'm not worried about tight end going forward. As far as offensive line, if you look at the stat box, you see Vikings got 5 sacks, probably could have had more, but overall, if I had to give them a grade, I'd give them a C. They were very average, but there were no jailbreaks. There were no guys knifing in, throwing the running backs for 3-yard losses. Nobody had to dance in the backfield, just to get back to the line of scrimmage. So, again, offensive line, sure, there were a couple of penalties. There were a few penalties. I know Van Rooten had a couple of bad plays where he let the pass rusher in. He let his guy in too fast. I know he had a holding call. Same thing with right tackle Illuminor, and then on the pick six. It would have been nice if he got his man. I forgot the Viking that picked that off, but that's really Jones's throw. I mean, the Vikes saw it. I mean, a 10-year-old kid playing John Madden could see in the situation the way they were lined up in the formation. So I have to put that on the quarterback more than anybody else. Because that play was totally telegraphed. Another telegraphed play was sometime in the second quarter. It was 3rd and 2, and no running backs in the backfield, and they had Daniel Jones run it. Jones runs better than he passes, and what did they do? They, on the 3rd and 2, at least have the threat of the running back there, even if you don't fake it to him. Let the defense look at him. So I'm disappointed. There was some bad play calling, and those are 2 that really stand out. As far as the defense is concerned, yeah, they got work. They made Sam Darnold had his little bit of, he had a little bit of his Dan Marino, Joe Montana going on over there, and he's Sam Darnold. But hey, he had better players around him. He had 2 excellent tackles. The Vikings have 2 excellent tackles. They got good skill players. They got arguably the best wide receiver in the game, if nothing a top 3 in Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison's an excellent receiver and as good a number 2 in the league as you can ask for. He got hurt early in the 3rd quarter on a screenplay that he was tackled for a minimal gain and hurt his ankle, so he was out. So the Giants, most of the second half, didn't have to worry about him, but, Vikings still scored a couple of touchdowns and controlled the ball in the second half. So it wasn't quite as close as a score. It's not as bad as last year's opener when they got blown out by Dallas 40-0. But anyway, back to the defense. D-line, Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence was Dexter Lawrence. I mean, he's not just one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. I mean, he's arguably, maybe he's not that's debatable if he is now with Aaron Donald retired, but he's just one of the best players in the league, I think, regardless of the position. So he's by far the Giants' best player. Nacho, DJ Davison, Jordan Riley, they were so quiet. And like the announcer said, when Dexter Lawrence was taking a breather on the sideline, that's when the Vikings just ran. And I don't blame them. I think every team in the league is going to do it, and they should. Until we can get someone else at the interior defensive line, teams are just going to run all over the Giants. Now, as far as the edge rushers, Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau, they didn't have good games, but I'm not too worried about them. It was nice seeing Brian Burns have that burst. Also Umanura back in the day had bad games where, but you still saw that burst and you still had to be aware of it. But he's also going up against, a couple of the best tackles. Hey, Giant fans. Sorry about that. Had a little glitch with my camera, so if the video seemed a little off right just a second ago, it was my fault there. So anyway, I was at the edge rushers, outside linebackers, defensive ends, whatever it's called in Shane Bowen's defense. Anyway, Kayvon Thibodeau, he didn't have a good game, but he did get some pressures. He got a couple of pressures in each half. Sam Darnold played well. Surprisingly, I expected this game to be closer because I was expecting Sam Darnold to, make a few huge mistakes like Daniel Jones does. So I kind of consider them kind of equals in that sense. But Kayvon Thibodeau, again, he's going up against two excellent Viking tackles, and I don't know how many tackles he got on that. He got a few, and Brian Burns. He didn't play well. However, I'm not worried about him. I think, like I said before my camera glitch, Osi Umenyiora had some quiet games, and you see that burst, and I'm sure Brian Burns is going to have a few good games down the stretch. And I still think both of them are going to be good for double-digit sacks. So the backups, Whitley, I don't think he played much. If he did, I certainly didn't notice him. Azeez Ojulari, number 51, I think he made a tackle. He had a couple of tackles after passes were caught, but again, no pass rush from him. Nothing at all. The only guy who really got the best pass rush was Dexter Lawrence. What else is new? Dexter Lawrence had a couple of batted passes or near batted passes. He had a sack, numerous pressures, and he just, blew up the Vikings blocking schemes like more than a few times, and he was playing hard well into the fourth quarter. So he's kind of like props to Jonathan Vilma for, like he said, I mean, regardless of what the score is, Dexter Lawrence he's the most talented guy, and he plays the hardest, and he showed it well into the fourth quarter. He was doing it when it was 0-0, and he was doing it when it was 28-6. So shout out to Dexter Lawrence. You're a great player, and the Giants are lucky to have you, and we're just praying for health, and hopefully the other guys step up at least to keep you healthy and let you have a breather. Back to the edge guys, again, not worried about Thibodeau and not worried about Burns. I think they'll come back, especially against lesser tackles. And when they, they'll get it going. Them I'm not worried about. I just hope for good health with them. The secondary, the other linebackers, the inside linebackers, Bobby Okereke unfortunately had a bad game. So him, he got caught in the trash. He got caught in the wash, if you will. He did make that nice play against in the early first quarter when there was a turnover, when there was a tackle, and the corner made the tackle. I think it was Drew Phillips, the rookie Drew Phillips, and he got the fumble just before he got out of bounds. So Giants didn't take advantage of it. They only got 3 points out of it. So Darius Moasu, the rookie out of UCLA, their 6th-round pick, I was impressed. Sure, he got caught in the wash too when the Vikings were running well, when Dexter Lawrence wasn't keeping people off of blockers, but he did make some tackles. He had a nice tackle for loss late in the game, and he got interception. Dexter Lawrence again batted a pass up in the air, and Moasu was heads up, and he caught it. So he's a heads up player, and I think he's going to challenge Micah McFadden, maybe even towards the midseason, or maybe not. I mean, with McFadden being hurt. So either way, he was a good 6th-round pick, a good late-round pick. Yeah, you can't ask for more than that. So, and that's about it for the inside backers. Nobody really, again, Bobby Okereke, a few tackles here, but unfortunately not his best game. But I'm not worried about him either, because last year he kind of started the first way. He was slow a couple of games, and boom, and then he just had a great year for them. So, unfortunately, it would have been nice for those three, Okereke, Thibodeau, and Burns, to have good games, because they have to win these 2 games, because the schedule gets hard from the 3rd game on. So, and the Vikings, while they have a good roster and some talent, I mean, they lost Kirk Cousins. I mean, Addison was limited even before he got hurt in this game. TJ Hawkinson, the really talented, good tight end, he was out. And we still got burnt by their tight end. I can't remember his name, but the Vikings backup tight end had a pretty good game. So moving on to the secondary, Deonte Banks had an okay game. I mean, Justin Jefferson had a nice 3-yard touchdown on a slant from Darnold. But Jefferson's going to beat anybody and everybody on that, so I can't hate on Banks for that. He did make a nice, really nice tackle for a loss. I remember early in the game. Overall, I mean Jefferson. I don't think he had a 100-yard game, but he's going. Like I said, he's going up against the best receiver in the game, or at worst, the top three. So not a bad game from Banks. The other corner, Dory Jackson. He got some pretty good playing time considering he's only been on the team for a week and a half. So I'm glad the Giants signed him. It was a good signing, and I think he'll get better. But he had a huge pass interference call. I think I want to say right before on the Vikings' third possession or so, or it was late in the second quarter. So he does that sometimes. But that's Dory Jackson. So I'm glad they got him back, and we'll see what happens. I mean, he's got to be corner two. Cordell Flott got burned for a touchdown by the Vikings' third receiver. So I've never liked Flott very much. I thought he was a reach when he was drafted, and he's talented, but I don't think that's why I was really glad they got Dory Jackson, because I don't think Cordell Flott is starter material. I do like that Drew Phillips looked good. He made some really solid tackles. He's an excellent tackler. Couldn't really see too much of him in his coverage, but I don't recall him. I think he gave up only a couple of passes, but nothing big. So that's encouraging from him. So as far as other, I don't even think Isaiah Simmons played. If he did, I didn't notice him. So again, I haven't watched the all 22. What I did is I took notes during the game. I looked at my notes. As a matter of fact, I got my note guide here. But other than that, as far as the secondary is concerned, the safeties, I thought Tyler Newman, the rookie, he looked good against the run. He had a couple of really good tackles, including a touchdown-saving one. So early in the third, there was a hole as big as a truck, and a lot of backs. He had one-on-one, and nice move by not getting juked or run over. But he's a big guy. Not many guys are going to run him over. But nice play by Tyler Newman. Jason Pinnock had the other safety. He's our number one safety now. He did make a nice play, pass breakup, I want to say late in the second quarter. Other than that, pretty quiet. It's hard to tell on TV how well the safeties are playing, but no big plays against the pass. Dane Belton, he had a nice pass defense that he batted a ball up in the air. It would have been nice if there was another DB in the area to get another turnover, but overall, no, not that many no big plays from them other than the pass defenses that were nice. Couple of nice run defense, but Vikings receivers did get open. They moved the ball. Sam Darnold completed his first 12 passes of the game, and not all of that is on the secondary. Thibodeau and Burns weren't getting to the quarterback. Only like I said, a couple of pressures each half from Thibodeau and Burns. I don't think Burns got any. Again, not worried about them. They were going up against good, excellent Vikings tackles. However, the Vikings middle is not that great, and Dexter Lawrence kind of abused Bradbury, the Vikings center. But the other interior defensive linemen for the Giants, they needed to step up and get some push and make some plays against the run, and they did not. I mean, Dexter Lawrence can't do it all by himself, and so if he had some more support, the Giants didn't lose this game because of Dexter Lawrence. He's a stud. He's truly a stud. One of the best. I think he's one of the best players in the league. But this is not the Dexter Lawrence channel, by the way. But he's just a great player, and he has been, all of the last 2 seasons, and I expect him to be again. I just pray for health with him. So overall, as far as special teams are concerned, Gunnar Olszewski got hurt during the warm-ups, and the Giants' solution was to put Darius Slayton, who proceeds to fumble on a punt return. Fortunately, the Giants recovered it, but that's why I wish Isaiah McKenzie didn't get hurt and would have made the team. So it would have been nice if the Giants picked up a backup. They claimed all these special teamers, and we have all these linebackers from Carter Coughlin to Ty Summers and Myron Adams. I mean, we have all these middle inside linebackers that are really primarily special teams only guys. And, you know, one of those special teams should have been claiming a guy who could return punts with Isaiah McKenzie hurt and nobody else to really back up. So our solution is, thank God we didn't put Eric Gray in because last year that hurt him. And now we're going with Darius Slayton as a backup punt returner. So who knows? Maybe the Giants will claim someone this week, or hopefully Gunner will be okay. So as far as special teams coverage, seemed to be okay. The highlight, my favorite play of the game was by special teams. Ty Summers catches the ball, the rolling punt at the 1, hot potatoes it to another Giant player, and who hot potatoes it to another one as he's falling in the end zone, to a fourth guy who falls on the end. It would have been nice if the broadcast could have would have shown more of the replay so I could get the numbers on who the guys were, but that was an excellent play. And again, the most entertaining play, because there was no great run by a giant running back, or a great throw by a giant quarterback, or a great catch. Malik Neighbors did have a couple of nice catches, but that was about the extent of it. And on defense, other than the many mentioned Dexter Lawrence, nobody made really big plays. Brian Burns did have a nice almost knockout hit on a running back after he got a few yards. He was already like 5 or 6 yards down the field, but it was nice to see Burns use that burst of speed to get to him. So other than that, and Mawasu's interception, of course, and a couple of batted passes here. Well, overall, again, not as bad as last year's opening, but at the same time, not good enough. And, you know, the Vikings, I didn't expect much from them this year because of losing Kirk Cousins. And they were going to play a rookie in J.J. McCarthy. And Sam Darnold obviously hasn't had that much success in the league. But, you know, with the Vikings playmakers and good offensive. Hey Giants fans, sorry again. I need to straighten out my camera issues here. Well, basically I was doing an overall. Overall, they didn't do good. They didn't look good. I'm not ready to give up on the season. Let me get to quarterback. Daniel Jones, I think I'll do a separate video on him. I kind of gave up on Daniel Jones after the 2021 season, and the 2022 season I thought was fool's gold. And I really don't have much faith in him. I think he'll be a career backup. I think he's a bit of a coach killer. I'll get into that later, but he made the offensive line look a lot worse than it is, and he made the receivers look worse. I saw the receivers getting open, and that's without even looking at the All-22 film. And I saw the pass protection was decent. It wasn't great, it was average, and that's all we needed it to be average, for even an average quarterback to have a better game, and he did not. He made terrible mistakes. So, yeah, that's that. I don't want to just the bashing Daniel Jones show. So, again, folks, please comment. I'd love to know what you're feeling, what your thoughts are on the game, and hey Giants fans, sorry again for the glitch. I was hoping I wasn't going to bother to edit this video, but I guess I got to with my darn camera conking out on me. I should have charged it better. So anyway, overall, again, I'd love to hear your opinion on this game. Any feedback is welcomed. Please like this video, and please consider following the channel and subscribing. Now, there's a lot of great New York Giants fan YouTube channels, but there's also a lot of junky ones. And there's a lot of ones that are, and those junky ones, a lot of them are made with AI. So, you know, you'll get something like follow Raiders Daily, or, you know, Saints Quarterly, or Saints Report. And, you know, you hear that familiar AI voice, and that's a lot of crap. So, if you subscribe to this channel, and I hope to encourage other people, football fans, not just Giant fans, but NFL fans with the new season, create a channel. I like following other teams as well, too. I mean, the Giants, I'm a Giant Blue fan since 1979, But I like listening to opinions on fans of other teams as well. So rather than AI crap that just basically kind of advertises the team for like 20 minutes and talks about nothing. So please, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. I encourage a lot of you fans to make your own channels, whether of any of the other 31 teams as well. So let's get the YouTube algorithm pushing those crappy AI channels to the bottom. So again, thanks very much. Peace out, fans.